Welcome to another episode of the Let's Think About It podcast. I'm your host, Coach Mo, and I'm here with another amazing guest. Her name is Rosemary Detrolio. Rosemary,
Hey Mo! Great to see you again, Mo. It's always a
great
pleasure.
great to see you. One of the first things that I do when people come on my show
Uh-huh.
is we need to check in where you're calling in from. Where are you?
Hey, I am in Hope, New Jersey, in a tiny little town, and I'm actually 11 miles from New York, and excuse me, 60 miles from New York, and 11 from the Pennsylvania Water Gap.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Born and raised in
Born
that
and
area?
raised in New Jersey. No, I was actually 30 minutes outside of New York City in a very small town where I grew up years ago. So, yeah, small town girl, but love the city vibe too.
Do you ever come to the West Coast?
I have never been to the West Coast. We're thinking of doing some more traveling now that my husband is retired. And our next trip's going to be Italy, so we're excited about that. But we've been to
Nice.
other states, mostly on the Eastern Seaboard.
That's
So,
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
Tell my guests who you are, what you do.
Okay, you got it. So I'm a retired school teacher, 32 years in public education. I left that in 2014. That's when I retired. And my business has been in operation for since 2000 and actually before that. And my main thing is I teach Reiki. I do energy work. My specialty is angel communication, guidance, and readings for people. But I also do workshops in person and on Zoom. I do self-study courses that are on my website. And I love these one-to-one conversations that I do with my clients to help to guide them and open up, let's say, dormant gifts they have, or just find life's purpose or direction. So that's the main thing that I've been really loving to do. And I'm also an author. I have 10 published books on Amazon.
That's awesome. I heard readings.
Yes,
I want to dive into that really quick
sure.
because what are some misconceptions
Okay.
about the work that you do in readings?
Right. Okay. So the first thing I would say is that people will say, "Oh, are you a psychic?" I have psychic abilities, but when I'm channeling angels, I am actually connecting with the divine force. My angel and the person's angel are connecting, and then I am able to channel a message for the person that asks me. And there's always free will. So for me, it's really important that a person understands that if something doesn't seem to fit, to go back to the reading and look at it at another time, and also take with them anything that resonates with them and feels true, because that's the direction the angels want them to understand first. And therefore, if someone calls me and says, I don't know if I should leave my husband, that's not what I do. It's not up to me to tell someone what they should do in that realm. It is the guidance that they get from the angels is always for their highest good and involves a lot of free will from the person to decide whether that information is going to be acted on or if they're going to wait on it. And that's where free will is so important. Someone should not give everything away to a reader or this or that. Some of my clients tell me, "Oh, I've been to like 8 readers and I have a tarot card reader and a this reader and a that reader." And to me, that's a red flag. Because I would say, if you're getting information and you're following it and you're learning how to use your intuition and your inner guidance, you will not need 98 different people to run around to tell you what to do. You've got to use your inner guidance and your connection with your angels and God and your guides to help you. And that's one of the things that I want people to know. I teach them to fish, I don't give them the fish. So it's part of my plan is to help people grow spiritually so that they can evolve and then do what I'm doing for them, but do for themselves. And that's really important to me.
Okay, because something that really sticks out to me, you said free will and
Yep,
intuition, right?
absolutely.
I feel that I'm a very intuitive type
Mm-hmm.
person. I'm self-aware about my feelings and my
Yes.
spirit
Good.
in certain moments. Why would a person need to see a reader like
Mm-hmm.
yourself if they already feel that they're very intuitive?
Sometimes it's just to trust. their guidance, because oftentimes when I do a reading and someone like you is very intuitive, they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I knew that. I was guided like last week and now it's showing up in the reading. Like you're telling me what I know." I'm like, "Well, that's good because that means you've been listening to your inner guidance." The other times that people would come to me is if they have a difficult relationship happening and they keep hitting a wall and they're not sure what's going on. Sometimes there's past life karma between two people. Our souls have been with each other before. It might have been a family group issue. It may be something else they need to clear and they can't see it. And sometimes they're like, "Oh, that's why I'm having trouble with my brother-in-law, my husband, whatever. It's this issue that we didn't clear from the past." And I've had
Okay.
that happen with quite a few readings that I've done. And after they understand it, it's, "Oh, then I can let it go. That was the past, and now this is now." So I don't have to have that weird feeling about so and it helps people to understand.
I consider myself an energy leadership coach. And what that
Hmm.
means is when you're in surround self-awareness and when
Hmm.
you're feeling like the frustration, the worry, the doubt, anxiety,
Hmm.
depression, when you're in that realm of feeling that emotion, your energy is typically down,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And I always say that you're distracted.
Yes, it's
You're
like noise.
distracted,
Yeah,
right?
static energy. Yeah, one of the things that you just reminded me about is when someone is in those low vibration energy fields, it's almost like they're walking around with glasses that are dirty. And whatever they look at is colored by this perception of, "I'm not good enough. No one loves me. I'm sad. I'm not worthy. God is not here. How come I went through this? Why me?" And all those energies are low vibration energies to a person that doesn't have that faith and understanding that all these things happen so you can learn from them, and they don't happen to you, they happen for you. So it's understanding that whatever you go through is for your spiritual growth and for your help. It's not to beat you up or to punish you. It is because you're supposed to learn from these things that we haven't learned from, maybe in the past of our soul's energy. So it's really teaching people that these things, if you like rewrite the story for yourself, that's a really
Right.
powerful thing to do. Instead of saying, "Oh, my husband was so mean, he divorced me," it's what did you learn from your independence from the situation? How did you take that gift and learn from it instead of letting it drag you down? Don't let
Right.
that take up real estate for the rest of your life in your brain. You want to clear the way so you can move ahead. And that's really the guidance, right?
And the point of that too, right? While you're dealing with that pain, that's the distraction because
Yeah,
you're still
in it.
engulfed in the
Yes.
pain. And it
Yes.
takes the self-awareness to take a step
It
back
it
to
moves
say,
it. Absolutely.
what am I learning from this situation to help
Yes.
forward you out of that energy set of
Absolutely.
being?
Yeah, and I think it doesn't mean that your grief is less or that you shouldn't feel that sadness. We all lose people, we all go through trauma in life, and part of it is feeling it deeply, but then setting it aside and understanding the lesson in it. Like I remember when I lost when my dad passed, I was really close to him, and it was like so traumatic because I love my father dearly. But what I do is I always think of the gifts he gave me. He had great laughter, he was hysterical, he would loved everybody. And to me, that I was honored by his presence, and I was also honored to be able to help him at his hour of death. And to me, that was the gift. Even though I miss him terribly in the physical form, you have to find the gift of whatever you go through to be able to move forward. So that's like the same message that you give your clients, I know. You find what's in it.
I think this is just a powerful conversation. How do you like when someone comes to you, right? And or maybe they don't even come to you, but they're skeptical about the work that you do.
Oh yeah, love the skeptics. I love the skeptics.
How do
Yeah.
you take me through? How do you work through that
So
process?
here's the thing. So I had a client come to me a couple of years ago, and he was a teacher in my school, and I knew the guy was very well respected. And he comes in and he goes, "I'm only here for a Reiki session with you because my spine doctor told me to go to you." Now I knew a spine doctor because I trained him with Reiki, although he didn't use it in his practice. So I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Just relax and lay down. You don't have to do anything. Just lay there. You don't have to believe anything. Just relax." So by the time I got to his knees, he opens his eyes, he looks at me and goes, "What did you just do to me?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He says, "I felt this rush of energy from the top of my head all the way through my feet." He says, "And I'm amazed. What are you doing to me?" I said, "I'm just letting the energy of this Reiki work on your body." After that, he booked 3 sessions and he wrote me a huge apology note about how he was a skeptic before he met me. So I thought that was super cool. So I always say the proof's in the pudding. The other thing is that skeptics keep people honest. Like, it's okay to be skeptical because I always
Yeah.
tell people if you never tasted chocolate, how does that person know what chocolate tastes like until they have a taste of it? Hold back and just see what you think. I would say start with a class, start with a workshop, start with a session, do something that is like tipping your toe in to see what you feel and what you experience. And if you have a good experience, then continue. But use your gut because some people will tell me, "Oh, I went to this person and I got a really bad feeling, but I didn't trust it." And then I was very disappointed. I said, "You know what? Use your gut, use your intuition. If it feels like it's a good step forward, then continue."
I remember someone had reached out to me. I always be posting like educational things on LinkedIn and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? But someone had reached out to me and said, Mo, how do you, per se, when you feel the inner critic, the doubt,
Yes.
how do you navigate to that desired state that you always talk about? And I was like, man, that's a great question.
It's a great question.
It is a great question, but here's what I do. This is what Mo
Okay.
do. In that moment of doubt, I have the awareness to know that my values is being distracted.
That's really good. Yeah, absolutely.
And let's just say I have to make a decision.
Hmm.
And integrity is
Me too.
one of my
That's my
high values that I
keystones. Me
lean on.
too. Me too.
In that moment of doubt, if integrity is very important to me, I remind myself what's really the right thing to do in this moment.
Yeah, that's real
And
good.
that naturally forwards
Yeah,
me away from the doubt or out of the
absolutely.
doubt. And
That's
and
awesome.
I'm more in a confident state of being just in
Yeah.
that moment.
Yes, I'll tell you when I was in that same scared moment is when I started channeling the angel realm and I started letting people know about it. And then someone came to me and says, "Can you do a reading for me?" And believe me, like for that moment, I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh." And what the angels told me is, "We don't really care about your ego and what you think people will think of you. We want you to be the mouthpiece for our words." And I went, "Oh, okay, cool." And then after that, I wasn't scared because I knew that if I had complete trust and surrendered, I can do my business. I could do what I have to do, and the right things will happen and the right people will come to me. And if it's not the right people, they're not going to show up. So I just really
Right.
believe when you're in alignment, you are aligned with the people and places that are going to either teach you a lesson or you're going to help that person move forward in some way. And that's really what I
Right.
believe, and it happens. I law of attraction, man. That's good stuff. Very strong.
It is.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that I share with clients around coaching and probably in your practice when you're doing readings is like we're a tools. We provide
Yes.
gifts for people to utilize our work as a tool so that they can get out of
Absolutely.
their own way. By
Yeah.
any means, you come to a few sessions, you work with me for whatever, you're still are going to experience certain doubts, certain
Yes.
uncomfortable situations. It's
Hmm.
up to you to have the awareness to implement the tools and the resources that you obtain from coaching to implement when those situations come forth again in the future.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
that's the powerful thing about the work that we do is that
Hmm.
we're providing these resources and tools and everybody is different in how they take this information in from us. But it's the experience of going through that with us that creates your path in the future because you will have that ability moving forward to tap into that experience.
Yes. And I believe that it's the action. So people can read everything and know it up here, but unless they put it into action,
Right.
then it just remains an idea. So any idea that's not process through becomes just an idea. So again, I know both of us give our clients tools to use. And then what's really good is sometimes somebody knows something and they're just not sure how to implement it. So we see something like in a different angle that can shift
Mhm.
them into a different realm of thinking. And I've done this too with not only the sessions I do, but through workshops and classes. Like people say, I knew it, but I didn't know how to ask. I didn't know where that information would shift me or how. The other thing is I've had a lot of people tell me, "Oh my gosh, where were you 30 years ago when I was a kid and I couldn't
Right.
ask about this stuff?" I don't know, I was probably still figuring it out myself. But it's
So,
good. It's good that there's people that do what we do to help people shift. And I think that's really vital and important right now.
Rosemary, take me through the discovery process for you when you realized that this was a gift, and what was that shift to go down this road
So
in doing
yeah.
readings?
So when I was like 2.5 years old, I remember that the kitchen table was above my head, and my mother was talking to me, and I'm looking at her like, "Why are you talking to me like a child? Clearly, I'm an adult." And then I looked down at my little body, and I went, "Oh, I'm back again." So I like really young, and I was raised Roman Catholic, by the way, but really young, I knew I was recycled in to do something. And people would always come to me for advice. Even when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I'd have people sit down and ask me stuff. And as I went through life, this channeling happened. I have a master's in education. So one of the last classes I took for my education was called Stress Management for Kids. And I remember going in this really quiet state because we were told we couldn't talk to anybody. We're supposed to be silent for the next 2 hours and walk around campus. I started seeing auras and energy fields around people. So that's the night I went home and I prayed and I said, God, I'm supposed to be doing something else. I'm not sure what it is. And then all of a sudden, I got the angel that stepped in and gave me my first reading back in 1993. And that was pretty cool. And then I knew, like, all right, I know what I have to do. I'm not sure how I'm getting there, but I'm just going to keep taking steps to figure out my business. And I had no idea. I just jumped right in. I got my business name back in 93. I learned Reiki, which is energy work, and I set up that. And I just kept going forward and I kept expanding and expanding. And during COVID is when I started doing like my Zoom things and I expanded doing things online rather than just in person. So it kept being like a revolving door, kept going bigger and bigger to encompass more of what I thought people needed and what I was guided to tell them. So that's how it started. I don't know if that answered you, but long time ago it started, is what I would tell you.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You also, when you first came on, you mentioned a book. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about your book.
Okay, I have a lot of books out there. So my spiritual ones are Divine Messengers, Inspired a Book from the Heart, and Wisdom, Sages, and Angels. The last two are workbooks. I have a fairy tale called The Hermit of Laramie for adults. I have three middle grade fiction books, and I have three primary picture text books, and I'm working on other ones as well. All my books are on Amazon. They're also listed on my website, rosemaryd.com, in Grow Your Spirit Books, which is my side by side, thing. So I do some school visits and such and love that too. Love working with the kids. So many books, a lot of words.
But okay, you just named off a lot of books,
I
right?
did.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Which one do you
Good
want to know
job.
about?
Great job. Really appreciate that. But you got my audience. We got some listeners as, yeah, this is cool, but I'm not sure. What's that one book that just gives them some basic insights of
So, yes.
energy, spirits, and things like that? What's the
I
go-to
would
book?
start with Divine Messengers because that tells people about my path and purpose and how I revolve through the angels and Reiki. And knowing the weird stuff that happened to me, people will feel more comfortable with the stuff that they go through. And then after that, I would go to my workbooks, my spiritual workbooks, because they can read a little something and write their own thoughts, which is a very good way to nail down your thought process and your metacognition about what you've just been through. So I would start with Divine Messengers, and then I would click on the next spiritual book, which is the
Okay.
workbook, and then the next one after that if they find it helpful to them.
If I'm a potential client, what do I look like coming to you?
Uh,
Who is that?
Okay, so I have different people. A lot of the women in my group are probably between the ages of 30 and 65. Some men will come in, but usually after their wives have been seeing me for other things. They'll bring their husbands, and then I'll do a reading for the husband or Reiki. But it's mainly women only because women are, I think, are more open sometimes for help than maybe men would be. But then the men start coming in. So that would be typical. My typical person is either seeking direction or they're on a spiritual path already and need more guidance.
Okay.
I have different age groups and needs.
And are the readings done virtually or in person?
If it is a transformational talk session, that is a talk session on Zoom and it's not written. If it is an angel reading, a specific angel reading, it takes me 2 weeks to channel, and it's usually 7 or 8 pages long of channeled information specific to the person's questions and what they need. When it's done, then I Zoom with them and then I send them the written communication.
Okay.
Did that
Okay.
explain it? And that's on Zoom. Unless they're really local, then I could be in person, but most times those are on Zoom.
Okay. When you are working with a client, are you working with your clients through your books that are published on Amazon in the workbooks, or is it something totally separate
No,
of what of your approach?
I sell the books in my office, and if I do a talk in public, I'll bring the books. I sell them there as
Okay.
well. But the main way people find me is usually just searching. They'll search local people in my area. They might search Reiki or readings or angels. So there's many ways that they will find me and my things. If you Google my name, you're going to see a lot of things pop up because I've been writing for blogs and I've been on a lot of podcasts and I've been on radio. So they'll find my name somewhere if they Google me, which is really nice.
Yeah. You also have a podcast and a
I
show,
do.
right?
I do. Tuesday morning, 10 Eastern, The Light Walker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary, airs on Bold Brave TV. And then it also goes to other streaming platforms after that. And what I usually do is I take the podcast and I'll also put it on my own website. So that way, if they need to find it quickly and they want to see a guest I had already, they can look around and click and see it from my website too.
Okay. Okay. What are some lasting thoughts that you would like to share about?
So I would tell people to don't focus on the negative. Turn off that news. You could read headlines. I know there's weird stuff going on. You could read the headlines, but don't let whatever happens in the world drag you down personally, because we only have control over our own emotions and our immediate environment, that and the people that are in it. So if you can keep yourself uplifted and be a positive source of light to other people, then they can do that for people in their close circle. And then it continues. We spread it. Keep positive and say prayer. I always talk to God every morning. Hey, you, help me
Right,
out.
right,
And then
right,
at
right.
night, I review like how I did my day. What did I act in complete integrity? Did I hurt anyone's feelings? And I go through the whole thing because I have to be in good alignment to be able to help other people with their alignment. So,
You said prayer, and I know we're about to close, but
yep.
you just triggered something.
Okay.
Let's just say certain situations that's really tough, it's really hard,
Hmm.
and then go into prayer with doubt.
Yeah. I would say
What's your take on that?
yeah,
Yeah,
and
expand
a
on it.
lot of people do have doubt, and sometimes it's because of secular religion and the way they were raised with fear related to their faith. I would just say I talk to God as if God is my friend, because I believe that this energy of God is in everything and that we are guided. So when I talk, I might say, "Hey God, I need some assistance here. Send me your angels." If you want a traditional prayer, then you can go back to Our Father, Hail Mary, whatever prayer that is in someone's faith. But I've worked with people from all different backgrounds, even ones that told me they were atheists I've done readings for. And they didn't stay atheists too long after I read for them, but which is good. But I just think whatever resonates with you, it doesn't have to be a traditional prayer if that doesn't feel right for a person. It could just say higher power, the creator, the all that is. Whatever you see your God as is what we have in us. That's called our soul. So we're all connected. We're all connected to each other and to this great light that's God. So
And then lastly, you meet, I'm assuming that you meet a lot of different people.
Yes.
whether they come on your show, you go on their
Mhm.
show, networking. Are you able to read certain energies with people
Yes, I
as you
can.
initially meet them?
Yes, usually the people that have been on my show, I usually meet them beforehand and I know their vibe. There's a few of them I haven't met with and said I want to be on your show, and that's fine. But most of the people I have on have a really good positive like energy vibe about them. It's the same way that I read people when I'm in public. If someone comes up to me, I can feel their energy or their hesitancy. And it's just a natural ability that we all have, and I had it really young, and it served me quite well, really.
Okay, so I promise it's the final
That's
question.
okay.
What was my energy like when you
You're
first met me?
it's very loving. You have a very kind heart. And what I was going to tell you is when I first met you, I think I saw either pink or blue around you. So you had communication and you have a very kind and loving heart. And I felt it when I met you. I was like, oh, I love this guy. He's cool. You have a very kind, accepting way about you. So yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
There it is,
There it is.
everyone.
Yo,
Miss
there it is.
Rosemary, there she is.
And thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
It has been
coming
such
on
a
today.
pleasure. Thank you so much. I love speaking to you today.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you, Mo.